On the left corner, writer of love letters and feeler of despair, we have my raw emotion, advocating for pushing forward with the current mechanics because change is scary. And on the right corner, silly as ever, back from studying JavaScript just to play scripts.world, is my sense of whimsy, insisting that RPyS actually needs to be even more complex to simulate every aspect of combat. I hope you brought popcorn because the match is about to start. Three, 2, 1, and they are off! Whimsy's offensive is vicious! Emotion takes cover behind the existing mechanics, but Whimsy uses the unfinished ones to pry the defense open. Emotion counterattacks with the previous iterations of the game, but it falls flat. Whimsy saw it coming a mile away. The situation is hopeless, but wait, is that? It is! Rational coming in with the steel chair! Is he in favor of maintaining current course? No! He's attacking Emotion as well. He wants to pivot deeper into simplicity! We have a winner! We have a new artistic direction! What a match! Can't wait to see where this goes for Rational and for the TTRPG! Stay tuned for more, folks! Ahoy. Excuses, I've been toying with some new mechanics and stuff. Simplifying the game has been very promising thus far, but everything is still half finished and, frankly, very poorly documented. I think that, not in terms of game design, but in general, when it comes to matters of taste, I am most comfortable committing to an extreme. The game's current level of detail and realism wasn't feeling satisfactory to me. I could fix this by making the game so complex that almost everything is accounted for, or by simplifying it so that the lack of precision is an evident feature instead of seemingly a flaw or compromise. I am going for the latter option because it looks way easier to test and develop. One of the most crucial changes has been to the character attributes. I've got a pair of attributes right here for you. Shut the fuck up! Alright, let's recap. The character's attributes refer to the character's talents and experience. They do not speak of their body's physical capacities. Bodies have their own separate stats to the character which do not grow with the character's level. This is because the bodies used by the characters are not naturally evolved bodies. They are intelligently designed by a very advanced civilization. And these bodies are designed to always be the very best they can be, even if they are organic and they do zero exercise. As an IU, you can have a body chiseled by the gods themselves without having to move from the sofa. Going to the gym does nothing for you because your body already pushes itself to its limit. So the only thing that can really improve about the character is the character itself, the person. In the way I originally envisioned RPyS, characters have 8 attributes, and they are classified as physical, thaumaturgical, or mobility based. But recently I realized that the accuracy and evasion stats are somewhat redundant. Regardless of if you are wielding a gun or a blade, being good at using it kind of boils down to being able to hit your enemy. Likewise, surviving kind of boils down to not getting hit in the first place. At the end of the day, as long as it means you do not kick the bucket, a parry and a dodge are the same thing. So, I have removed the accuracy and evasion attributes and offloaded most of their mechanics and responsibilities onto attack and defense. I still want to have 8 attributes spread across 3 categories, so removing accuracy and evasion has opened the door to adding wisdom and attention. Also, agility has been renamed to reflex. These now form the mental category instead of the mobility category. Another aspect I have been reconsidering is the action economy in RPyS. Normally in TTRPGs, all characters have the same amount of actions per round, and if they get any extra or any way to bend this balance, it's typically a very big deal. But in RPyS, I wanted characters that could be inherently quicker than the rest, able to get more punches in or whatever. The problem is that the way that I implemented it, it was a statistic that would grow the same as any other, which means that the fastest growing character would be twice as fast as the slowest growing character in that statistic. This difference in action economy is colossal and gives an advantage that is very, very difficult to offset. In order to fix this, I have made it so that improvements to the action economy are no longer a normal part of every character's progression. Instead, they work similarly to Pathfinder feats. They are offered upon level up under certain conditions, and the character can only pick a given number of them. This also means that the amount of action points gained per round no longer varies from 3 to 12 depending on character and level. Now characters just gain a flat 4 action points at the beginning of a round, 5 if they have the skill for that, much simpler to design around. This is a good time to talk about attribute skills, actually. Pathfinder has proficiencies and feats. Feats are big upgrades of which you can only get a few per level. They are one of the most consequential choices in your character build, and they unlock options that go far beyond a number going up. RPyS will have a similar system, but feats are associated to an attribute's statistic instead of the character's level. Starting on 5, an attribute unlocks a new slot for a skill each time that the statistic increases. So when it is 5 it will have 1 slot, when it is 6 it will have 2 slots, and so on and so forth until it is 12 and it has 8 slots. Do you remember that spreadsheet I showed you in a previous video? This is what that's for. It's a matrix showing what an attribute's stat will be at every given combination of level and growth value, and all of the pretty colors are for helping count how many slots will be available by that point for that attribute. Each skill can only be unlocked from a few attributes. Once you open a slot, you can put any skill there as long as it is compatible with the corresponding attribute. Proficiencies are skills that you can pick up to 4 times to increase the proficiency rank each time. There's a couple aspects about Pathfinder 2's proficiencies that I don't really like and that I have fixed in ways that I'm kind of proud of. First, in Pathfinder the proficiency ranks are called Untrained, Trained, Expert, Master, and Legend. Pathfinder, what the fuck is this shit? It doesn't make for a memorable acronym. What am I supposed to do with UTEM? Get out of here! In RPyS the ranks are called Untrained, Deficient, Common, Brilliant, and Amazing. It's a basic grading system, the letters of the alphabet in order. Even if you don't remember the exact names, you can just use the name of the letter. Get on with the fucking program, guys. U for untrained can be changed. It can be U for useless, N for nothing, Z for 0, G for get the fuck out of my sight. You get the point. My second issue with how Pathfinder handles proficiencies is that after being trained, each level of proficiency just adds a flat bonus. It does not increase the rate at which the skill increases with the level. This is not a bad design, it works perfectly well for Pathfinder, I just don't want it for my game. I want the influence of the character's level to grow with the proficiency. So, on top of each rank adding a bigger flat bonus, the ranks also grant their skill a growth value. This is the number that tells players what their stat will be at each level, thus skills kind of work like attributes with their own stat. RPyS doesn't really use the word feat, it uses the term skill for what would be feats in Pathfinder. I really have to make a glossary or something so we can be on the same page with the terminology. Now I want another title card here to signify that I am done talking about attribute skills, but the video is basically over so I don't really have anything to call this title card. It's not the outro yet, I have some final conclusions. Overall I'm very satisfied with the current state of the game. This and a few other simplifications did give me renewed energy to work on the project. I actually got it to a point where it's systematized enough that I was able to run a short combat test with my friend Trupo. The next devlog will be a post-mortem report summarizing and dramatizing how that went down. I kinda wanted to test spells and specters primarily, but it ended up being mostly gameplay. That's cool too, though. It was a wake-up call to how much I need to finish systematizing that aspect of combat. Alright, that's a wrap. This video has gotten way too long. It used to be split into 2 different scripts that I ended up joining together. Okay, that's all. Peace off. Bye, 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 bye. The colors help with counting how many skill slots would be unlocked by that attribute.
Se me da mica male pochita